Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back to Haydee. We've run into some spots where the game is actually a little bit more difficult than I would have expected it to be. And we found out that you can only save so many times on a single floppy disk. So, yeah. There is some weirdness, I would say, here in that you probably shouldn't be taking fall damage in this game. It doesn't quite make sense that that's the way this is playing out. So because this is kind of a great example of where you fall and would take fall damage for no good reason. Let's see. And frankly, I guess I need to figure out the controller settings. Let's see. So moving is the right stick, view is the left stick. We know that. Jump is A, crouch down is B, X is interact. To aim / dive is left trigger. Fire is right trigger. Select is inventory. Let's see. Left thumb holsters, right thumb reloads. Right thumb or right shoulder. Well, interesting. So you holster your gun with the left thumbstick click. You reload with the right shoulder, so the right bump. Then you change your shoulder perspective with the right thumbstick click. And then you get into tool belt mode with the left shoulder bump. Boy, does that feel odd. Alright, so theoretically, the left trigger that I'm pulling right now should hit that. And it isn't. So I'm confused. Am I supposed to hit B and then jump and take fall damage to that point? See, yeah, this is where the fall damage just does not make sense at all. Well, left trigger does take a different pose, so there's yet another pose if you want to just get all up in the character with the left trigger. But that doesn't equate to diving. So it almost seems like we don't have that ability. Because clearly the trick here, as far as this puzzle. And what's funny is I'm going to die probably from fall damage and then end up reloading in a place that is very far away, all to just get this, which I don't even know what that is. Like the trick is to go here to this. Pressing A doesn't do anything. Coming all the way to the edge doesn't seem to do anything. Looking to the left here to potentially hit that green pipe doesn't seem like that would work. They clearly want you to jump. They want you to do a back jump, but there's no button on the controller that does that. Let's see. All you can do is hit B, and then you just fall straight down. So color me confused. Like this button here, if we left that closed, Yeah, there's just no 180 spins on this. So I just can't do this. Alright, well. Maybe there's some new ability that we unlock later. That's all I can assume. Which then this puts us in a weird position where we are unable to really do anything. Because we ran across that robot. This guy walks towards you, but seems to... Yeah, one hit and you're dead. So I don't have the gun. There was a save file on that character. There's a couple of other places we can go. The other green sections have had platforms like this. And so it's been fairly obvious that hitting a green button has led to platforms popping up. The question, I guess, is how many bullets do we have? I'm still terrible. Because what I did was I took aim in this room. And then this guy, maybe I should aim this way. This guy with the arms. Come on. Yeah. The guy with the scissor arms is way stronger, or faster at least. They both seem to be pretty deadly. So I was able to shoot one of those guys, but then I ran out of bullets to shoot the other. And since the area opposite of that is an area that I don't seem like I can actually engage with, clip through the wall a little bit there, my best bet is to simply jump over here. And the camera really gets stuck against the wall. That's a problem that I think a lot of games have, Unreal Engine games in particular, or Unreal Engine games. The virtual cameras seem to be incapable of going through a wall and like properly clipping through it and then looking through a wall as if that wall wasn't there in the first place, which is kind of what you would want to have happen. So they get stuck against walls and then really creep up on the main character, although in this case the game is kind of always creeping up on the main characters. And here we have a problem of procedural generation, if we've ever seen it, in that we cannot let go of an arm. So this has let me get on this platform that I shouldn't have been allowed to get on to, and now I can't get off of it. It almost felt like it let me go in that opposite direction. And there's nothing in here that would have given me like another save file. And if we opt to go somewhere different, I think the different location here is really, really far away. It's, yeah. I'm willing, just for some variety, to check out some other areas, but there may be an argument to just going back to the original area that we started the game in. Yeah. Because there's just this water puzzle. And the thing about this water puzzle is that this gate and this door is locked, and I didn't find anything that would have moved that gate. Hey, wait a minute. Now that I've read the instructions, there is a dive button. Can I undive? Or do I have to hold the A button? Or do I have to press A? Interesting. So you do die in the water. And you die in a very odd way. Certainly too. Apparently your butt is lighter than everything else. Well, as dumb as that may have been, that was progress. Like, we do now know that there's a dive, we do now know that there is a limited amount of time you can be underwater, which, if anything, hints at this actually being a human. In a helmet, in a robot outfit. The human maybe with cybernetic arms. So then the question, I guess, is just jump or up is A. Okay. So when I was first here, I didn't know about the dive. So if we dive now with the left trigger, it doesn't seem like it is just dive. It seems like it's dive and left stick. So then up and left trigger get you back up. Excellent. So we can solve this then. There is definitely a lack of the little helpful things that you would expect in a modern game. In this game, the fact that it doesn't particularly warn you before you die for lack of oxygen underwater. The fact that it's not giving you those little helpful, sometimes very annoying reminders of how to play the game. If you, like, a lot of games track your activity and will only give you those reminders if you haven't actually done it, or will only give you the reminders at the beginning of an area. so usually the reminders are not that bad. There's no real tutorial here. There's no dialogue. There's no interest, obviously, in telling any story or having anything like that. Which I can't really blame the game for being just more focused on that. On showing off the body and doing what it wants to do. There's one more we missed somewhere. Should be a square here. And I know it's not under the water because I got it before. I think it's possibly over here. But yeah, if you were to compare this game to Portal, like the one thing that made Portal really stand out as kind of an amazing extra experience was the fact that you had GLaDOS, the computer, constantly adding little lines of dialogue and quips, and that there was actually somebody with a writing amount of skill writing dialogue and characterization to the enemy, and in some way it gave some small characterization even to the main protagonist in Portal, Chell, who doesn't really even speak in the whole game and doesn't have any real personality. I know I solved this puzzle without diving, so I can only assume what I did wrong here is I must have hit a button twice over there in the corner. So we'll just start over again. Unless there was a button here I missed, which I didn't think there was. Definitely feels like there's an opportunity here where you could have had some enemy style character antagonizing Haydee. It really could just have been a straight up rip-off of Portal, except for maybe you flip it a little bit and you may have more of a Cave Johnson type chauvinist type character as the voice instead of GLaDOS, who is more of a robotic psychopath type character. But I guess if you were to follow that idea, then you aren't wholly embracing the idea of objectification, which this clearly is an example of a object in the sense of a video game character being objectified even more for your sexual gratification. And this game doesn't seem like it's gonna try and ride a line or try to pander or pretend like it was secretly a pro-feminist type message against objectification. This is instead saying, no, I am totally cool with objectifying a robotic video game character and people who are on board with that idea are going to enjoy this game to a certain level, and people that would never enjoy that idea are probably never going to buy this game in the first place, because all the screenshots on the Steam storefront are going to prevent anyone from accidentally buying this game and being surprised about what's in it. There really is not a single screenshot in this game that you could make that isn't going to have Haydee, Haydee's butt in the screen. Like, you could maybe get that angle, but you really have to get like a very tall angle. Oh, this is irritating. Okay, so we're now back to square one. There must be another dive spot that opens another gate. Well, first thing to do, I guess, would be to dive for the spot we had already found. Then we'll immediately dive up. Make sure we're above the water. Is that clear? It is. But the square disappeared. See, the square is now over here. Interesting. Alright, there's a save disk up there, which it seems like it has two uses, so different save disks may have multiple different uses. But I definitely could use a save disk. One thing, while this is a game that it's rather unfair to really compare to Portal, since Portal's just had a lot more resources around it in the first place. One thing I would say, though, that this game is doing better than Portal is having more secrets around it. Because that definitely was not a thing. Right, yeah, I just flipped off a switch that I shouldn't have flipped off. Like, had there been a little bit more collectibles out there for in the Portal game, or had there been really anything in Portal 1, I would have probably played the game a lot more. Although noticeably, even Valve admits to that at a certain level, because Valve themselves added the radios to Portal 1 when they were teasing the release of Portal 2. But had there been a New Game Plus element in Portal 1 where you found files that would tell you more about Chell and give you more of a character backstory, that would have been interesting. Had you run around and just found any kind of collectibles of anything, it would have been interesting. Even if it was just like Aperture Science coffee mugs or, you know, circuit chips. Even in Portal 2, a game that is much longer and doesn't really need those collectibles, the extra content that Portal 2 does add in its multiplayer, while an interesting experiment, it's not quite what I wanted from a game that had, up until that point for 2 games, been solely a single player platforming puzzling experience. Let's see. Is there anything in here? Nope. I was kind of thinking that this gate was going to be opened at some point, but I don't think it is. What I'm not seeing, though, is still the idea of holding on to a ledge and doing a backflip jump. So unless I need to find some kind of item that would let me do that, I'm very confused. This wouldn't be a terrible room to potentially experiment with holding a ledge and doing a backflip jump. Seems like there's nothing up here. But I would very much prefer. Okay. If something here locks this gate, and that something is pushing that button, I guess the first question to ask here is, do I see the gate? Yes, I clearly see the gate there. Pushing that button. Do I see the gate now? No. I have to hit that button to get it to move back that way. And I don't think I can just grab the ledge. So there kind of has to be something else. Let's just look around and then swim back up. Make sure our head is above the water. Look around and then swim back up. It does look like there's a plant up there that I may have not checked out. Dive down here. These buttons fairly do stand out, so it really doesn't feel like Unless the trick here is that I need to toggle the other button, which that may be the case. Let's see. I kind of reset everything. And both gates are open, but this guy's over here. I almost wonder if this is just a room designed to have you swim around a lot. Okay. Getting up there. Like, the path now leads to going up there and finding the save file. If I hit this, the path now leads to going over there and hitting that same. Is there possibly any way I guess that's the question to ask. Just go down here and hit that. And swim back up very quickly. See, hitting that would just put it over there in that corner, which is where we'd want it. What I'm thinking is maybe this block could move into the center if that block wasn't in the center. May just not have paid enough attention in doing this. You'd think for a room this difficult that this would be a significant part of the game, but I just have no idea. Like, this may be one puzzle for one section and there may be only 5 sections in the entire game, or this may be the first of 3 or 4 puzzles. So I want to go over there. This is a great example of where, had Haydee had a mouth, had a voice as a character, she would probably, it'd probably be nice for her to be programmed to say something and say, yeah, that's not right, or that can't be it. Alright, let's just stand up first. Okay, that moved the platform, I think, just to non-existence. Unless the platform was over here in the corner. So I don't think that works by any means. I guess the experiment to ask now will be, with that off, if we dive down here and hit this button, does anything happen? Nope. If we hit this button, it puts it in the corner, which that doesn't help us at all. So if we do this, that resets it there. Can we find anything up here? Nope. Is there any scenario where we would have gotten a square? Yeah, would we ever have gotten a square over here on the back? Is, I guess, a question to ask, but I don't think it's how that would play. Let's see, if we put the thing back here, that wouldn't do anything. We click that, and it puts it there. The gate is open. Where'd the square go? Square totally disappeared. Just to break the cycle, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to hit this button. That'll put it in the middle. And that won't help us in any way, but it will allow us to potentially try to get the camera to see if the gate is still open. It does seem like it's still open. This goes all the way down to the ground. All of these columns seem to go straight to the ground. There probably should be an animation that shows them lifting up. Yep. Hitting this again, then toggles that. So it's seemingly missing. Interesting. That puts it over there when I hit that. And then hitting it a second time doesn't do anything. So I needed to have hit this button. Just see what state we're in with this. Like, it still seems like the gate is open. Everything we're doing seems to keep the gate open. Until we hit that last button, which seems to lock the gate. So maybe I just need to hit the button twice. I think I'm gonna have to look up a walkthrough, because this doesn't seem doable. And then the problem is that the other locations and the other things that I could potentially go try and engage with are not so doable either. And yeah, I heavily suspect this game isn't that long, but it kind of doesn't matter how long the game is if at the end of the day it's just not achievable, if it's just too difficult. In a funny way, I have seen some other games that kind of sell themselves as being more centered around being lewd or sexy, and then they turn out to be super easy. I don't think I've ever seen a game that has sold itself that way and then turned out to be difficult. Yeah, there's never a column here, and there's never a column over in that corner, which really wouldn't change much if there was. I don't think. You can see the gate is open right now, and then when I hit it, it moves it. It just doesn't seem doable. Like, you've got a blue button here and a blue button there, and almost certainly those blue buttons are part of the puzzle. And so you kind of have an impossible puzzle. Unless there's just something in the water that I don't see as far as a tunnel that would wrap around. Let's just go this way, because I don't think we've actually done this. Okay. I guess the only thing to do is to look and see if there's possibly another button. each of these buttons, with the exception of one in the corner, moves where that one platform is. And each of these buttons seems to open the gate. Like that. Unless you're just supposed to jump. Like that would be the only thing I could think. Is that unless there's straight up just supposed to be a jump that is a diagonal jump that is something. Even these buttons that are underwater should really be highlighted and glowing. We spent like 45 minutes on this. Yeah. And I just don't think that there's a solution here. Is the game just badly programmed? Is that what we have to make an assumption on? The chances of me making a diagonal jump here feels very low. Even though the game is fairly floaty, that just doesn't seem like that's likely to be the case. If we had some kind of co-op and another character that we were letting through, I don't think that makes much sense either. If there was a secret passage. It seems, unless I'm just totally confused, the only way to get the platform there is to do that. But if you were going to come back in this area and you couldn't fall in the water to exit, because you were like carrying something that couldn't get wet or something like that. Curve around the edges, certainly. My only other thought would be to run and jump. Just try and run and jump and hit that button. Which I don't really buy that. mean, I'll give it one chance. Yep, that didn't do anything. Yep. This is the button that you can't always click. Once it's already in position. Interesting, that one you can click twice. And in clicking it twice, the cube seems to be completely missing. Well, maybe that means something. Maybe because I clicked that twice, that broke the cycle. And so, I mean, it seems like the gate is still open. And that puts it back there in the corner. You can't click that twice. So I would kind of just assume that this is a reset button in general. You click it once, it puts it in the middle. You click it twice, it is missing completely. You click it 3 times, it's back in the middle. So just absolutely no progress at all being made there. And then there is just a real question about maybe I should go back and investigate this area again some more. If I was to venture a guess, what is going to happen is this area might be a bit of a hub area where the doors that are locked become unlocked. At least that would be my kind of guess. So we've stopped doing a lot of climbing through platforming areas and doing just like generic platforming in favor of much more dangerous platforming. And let's see, did I engage with this completely? Work all the way around? I think I probably did. Here's a thought. If I did that, this is where I think I just got the ammo for the gun, which is to say, if you hadn't done this, you wouldn't have had any ammo for the gun at all, and the amount of ammo I have found in the gun was not really enough to satisfy my needs. And I'm just running through this section with no fear, because inherently I'm expecting just to die and reload the game anyways. And see, this room was like our first combat fight. Ah, no, there was a door. I'm in the dark and doesn't feel like there's an actual panel yet there. Yeah. This opens a section up, but only halfway through, I would guess. Unless there's some trick here where I'm supposed to catch the edge. No, I don't think so. So unless there's another button I'm not seeing. The music also changes in that sequence. And this opens that door, which I think that probably means we have seen everything there is to see in this area. If I go back this way, it would just be at the very beginning of the game. These little triangles stopped being used as hints. So a little visual, like, in-world tutorialization definitely happened, but they've mostly stopped with that. I need to get through this door. Through this door. And crouch down here. Feels like a map would be helpful. Then we are just back to the blue section, or we're back to the green section. Yeah, and we've gone an hour, so I'm gonna make a special exception here and immediately look up a walkthrough, even though we're really less than 3 hours into the game, because I just have no more ideas. Like, I need to figure out if I can do a jump backwards, which feels like I should be able to do this. This hardly is Mirror's Edge as far as its parkour abilities. But if I can jump backwards, then I know how to solve one room. If I otherwise, though, I still don't know how to solve this specific room that I'm in, and I really don't know how to deal with the robots with such a limited amount of bullets. Seems like probably you're going to end up with rooms where there are 2 robots and you shoot one and then you run around the other one. And yeah, saving and loading is still a major factor here as far as how limited you are. Although if there were checkpoints in this game, and it is as short as I think it is, you probably would blow through this game fairly quickly. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.